I love to scream.
I like fighting with friends, and I enjoy being scared also.
I came here this weekend to feel my flesh crawl and to get goosebumps and to feel my hair stand on end.
I'm just a gore freak. I write the books, I see the movies, I know the people. You got to be here. This is where it's happening. This is Fangoria in 3D.
Splatter, man. The more horrible, the better.
Oh, I'm into fantasy. They're into blood and guts.
Mom hates him. She thinks I'm sick.
A lot of blood and guts, half the body, getting ripped apart, stuff like that. I like that kind of stuff.
My parents think I'm crazy.
I think they're kind of gross.
Because I think some movies have tasteless blood and guts.
That's it. That's what this convention is all about.
And the other ones where you see girls getting hacked up in bed, those are okay.
Just what you are.
Welcome to the Cinematic Void Podcast. Cinematic Void is a cult film series that hosts screenings in the Los Angeles area as well as virtually. I'm your host, Jim Branscombe, and joining me as always is
Nick Vance, Paranoid Futures on social media. You can find Cinematic Void on the World Wide Web at cinematicvoid.com, as well as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and all major podcast platforms. If you want to support The Void, you can consider joining our Patreon. You'll find some old episodes there. Jim, what's been going on? What do you want to? Who are you talking shit about this week? What have you been up to? We went to a show.
Yeah, we did a good show. I mean,
trying to think if I don't know if I did anything else except for go to that show this week. So I guess that's what we'll chat about.
You know, we went to see Godflesh, and this was your idea, and I want to put this up front because it's just like...
I thought I bought tickets for something in like September or October. Why does it got to be... Why did it have to be Friday?
What?
Why'd I have to leave my fucking house on last Friday?
Man, I've never seen you try to bail on a show so hard as this fucking Godflesh show.
Dude, live music is... annoying.
Well, my favorite part of it was, like, I think if it had just been you and I, we probably would have fucking bailed.
We would have bailed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I only went because I fucking promised Nikolai a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you bought Nikolai and I a ticket. You were fucking hard confirmed.
But it was great hanging out with you guys.
Oh, no.
I had a lot more fun hanging out at my house and just drinking beers before we left.
Yeah, because we definitely pre-gamed, which was very wise.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched a bunch of various hardcore videos and like...
We were just hanging out watching Trapped Under Ice and Speed videos, No Warning. Yeah, that shit was fun.
Oh, that was a lot of fun. Like, it was sick. And it was just like, and then we had to actually take an Uber down there. My favorite thing about the Uber ride was Nikolai sat up front with that dude and like...
just talked his ear off. Like, yeah. Thank God, I don't want to talk to this guy.
I mean, the guy was listening to classical music and Nikolai's like, have you seen Tar yet?
Hell yes.
And like, I was like, this is fucking great. I mean, I don't know who paid for the Uber. Was it you?
I might have been Nikolai.
So I'm sure
Nikolai got a bad rating.
Yeah, it's like guy would not shut up about the movie Tar. Well, then we got to the Godflesh show, and I guess there was two opening bands, and there's the touring opening band, I guess local. When we got there, I thought we walked in on like a fucking weird like Twin Peaks like kind of installation, because it was a dude with a bunch of samplers and all that. And I'm not trying to talk shit, but it was literally a dude with a bunch of samplers and some guy hissing in a microphone. I was like, this shit can't be real.
Of course it is. This sounds like every other show I fucking end up at.
Yeah. I mean, compared to the Fleshwater, Koyo, No Pressure show that we went to, we were probably, I don't want to say we were the youngest, but we were definitely on the younger side comparatively for Godflesh.
Someone offered me a ticket to go see Drug Church on Friday, like on Thursday night. Like, God damn it. Fucking, it's so funny that in 2023, I'm like, I'd rather go see Drug Church than Godflesh.
I mean,
it's funny how we change.
I mean, I feel the same way. Like, had I known, it's like, fuck, Drug Church is playing. My girlfriend, Leslie, loves fucking Godflesh.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, found out Drug Church was playing the same night. She was like, oh, we would have gone to fucking Drug Church instead.
Hell yeah.
And the thing about Godflesh is, like, they're a great band. I think it's the old age in me. It's just like 40 minutes would have been cool. 90 minutes was just like, I couldn't hang.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you know, they had this visual thing where they basically had like an image that would slowly kind of like screensaver style move behind them. And like, they're all like, Justin and the other guy are all blacked out. It's a drum machine, two guys playing heavy shit. And like, you know, Godflesh by its nature is repetitive because it's industrial metal, which by the nature of the genre is repetitive. But it's just like, I think I got my fill. And then like after they played like Breed Like Rats, the song off of Street Cleaner, we went outside and then we got punished by the one guy that got kicked out of the show.
Oh God, that fucking guy.
The guy that decided to do like go, I guess he stage drove and like crowd surfed for like a second at the El Rey, and I guess the El Rey has a no mosh, or I don't know what the El Rey's fucking policy is.
And Nikolai went up front. He said some people were doing some like push moshing and shit.
They're gonna have. I saw Gorilla Biscuits are playing there. It's like I don't know how you enforce the no stage dive rule for that.
Damn, I want to go to that.
Yeah, I kind of want to go to that. I say that now, but like we bought tickets for it, be like, fuck, we got.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but Gorilla Biscuits is a different.
Yeah, I mean,
Gorilla Biscuits is. I might say it's top 5 at least, but maybe the best show I've ever seen in my life was Gorilla Biscuits at the Autobar in like 2000 fucking, maybe it was like 5, 7, something like that. Like, oh God, it was insane. Like every single person in the room was singing every single word. Like it was fucking nuts. It was just like something that people didn't think they'd ever see.
Yeah, and
I mean now you just see them like once every 2 or 3 years, but
I mean they've gotten smart and like, you know, just because they're not making new music.
I think I saw them at like one of their Rev Fests a few years back too, with like Judge and.
I was well, I ended up like watching some live video of them recently because it's just like and it's just like it's sick.
Yeah,
like the band's tight. And kind of like off topic, I did buy tickets to go see Quicksand. Yeah,
fuck yeah.
I'm gonna be seeing that in DC with my girlfriend when I'm back in the Baltimore area in October.
The DMV?
Yeah, the DMV. And I was like, shit, might as well see Quicksand was there. It just, the timing worked. And it's like, I'll be more inclined to go to that when I'm there as opposed to like if I bought a ticket for December when they play LA, I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
leave my house in December?
Yeah.
Who the fuck wants to do that?
I mean, I'm on vacation. I feel like I'd be more inclined to go to a show.
Right on.
But anything else been going on, or it's just been
just being annoyed by life, just being like, why can't you just let me sit in my house and do nothing?
Yeah, I mean, I am making you do this podcast. So.
It's fucking annoying, dude. It's fucking trying to come to my house at like 9 a.m. on a Friday morning. Like, what are you even doing? What are we doing here, dude?
I brought you a fucking burrito, man.
Thank you for the burrito.
Yeah, so
it's really good.
I gave you a window between 9 and 10, and you
chose 10,
and that's fine. I had errands to run anyway. I had to go fucking buy groceries and I don't know, do other shit, so it worked out. But I guess if we're all caught up with what's going on in our life, we can kind of set up what we're talking about today. We've kind of talked about this in some previous episodes, and it's kind of a follow-up from the Blu-ray episode that came out before this. And it's just looking at like how horror, the genre, as a culture, as people who watch it and love the movies and stuff, has kind of changed. And I dare say there's a little bit of clout chasing with it. Sort of like what happened with Blu-ray collecting and all that. So I'm going to say that we'll probably say some things, or I'll say some things that people are going to be like, I don't agree with that. And that's fine. This is just my personal feelings and takes of just like how I've seen things evolve and stuff. And it's like, I'm not saying it's inherently bad, anything we're going to be talking about, but it's just like, and maybe it's just my sensibility doesn't mesh. And it's just me asking questions that some might be rhetorical. Some might be like, hey, someone can give a real answer. Like, so consider this an open discussion, except it's just going to be me and Nick talking. But, you know, after you listen to it, you have questions or have your own thoughts, please share. And maybe we'll talk about them on that follow-up episode. So why don't we take a little break, and when we come back, we'll talk about horror clout here on the Cinematic Void Podcast.
What will terrify you most at the Haunted Mansion in Long Branch, New Jersey? The Haunted Mansion, home of more than 30 creatures of the night. Frightening, monstrous, blood-chilling creatures of every description. Which one will make you scream in terror? Find out at the Haunted Mansion in Long Branch, New Jersey.
This Halloween, party with your favorite monsters during Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios, Florida. And right now, carve out savings of up to $16 off admission with this special coupon you'll find on 2 liters of Pepsi. For details, visit a Pepsi display near you. Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. Hurry to Ticketmaster today for advance tickets, while you can still slash the price.
Welcome back. We're going to be talking about horror clout here on the Cinematic Void podcast, and I feel like this is probably going to be a touchy subject for some of the listeners, and again, this is just my opinion. This is Nick's opinion. We're not going to try to, like, if you don't agree with something, we're not trying to change your thoughts. This is just it's kind of like the Blu-ray episode all over again. It's more just things that I've thought about and just saying aloud, because of just, in my 40 plus years of life, I've seen, like, you know, how horror as a genre, as now like a commercial bankable kind of thing, just the whole thing, and I'm going to throw Halloween in there, has really changed. In like, I think it's good and I think it's bad on both counts. I
never want to hear someone say spooky season again in my fucking life. For one, since you mentioned Halloween, I just want to put that out there. If you say spooky season, you're my fucking enemy.
Well, I've definitely used that term to like sell.
Ooh, it's brutal.
Yeah, but there is something inherently weird with it. And like the thing, I'm just going to say off the bat, and again, I feel like there's been a weird Disney-fication of like horror. Yeah. And I don't mean the movies are sanitized and they're all like Disney, but I like, living in California, we have a phenomenon known as Disney adults. These are people that, like, you know, have Disney season passes, and it's part of their identity. Nothing wrong with that. Do what you love. You know what I mean? I used to have a fucking Disneyland season pass, but like, I'll probably never get one again, because last few times I had it, like, I go to park and just like couldn't do shit because it's just so overcrowded and all that. Was pre-pandemic and all that. And I don't know. It's just like, I've definitely seen a lot of people that are really big in the horror, at least on the surface, that are really Disney adults.
Dude, I bet there's people out there with like fucking Jason Voorhees masks with like Mickey Mouse fucking ears.
Oh, I 100% guarantee there's some.
Or like what other variation on like how do you make a Disney horror? You know, but Disney did make a great horror movie, Return to Oz.
Oh yeah, Return to Oz is just fucked.
Terrifying.
It is one. Yeah, it's a fucking traumatizing thing. You know, Disney's definitely done some horror stuff besides like Black Cauldron, which is like my favorite Disney animated film. I stand by it, and I probably would love to screen it at some point. That was just the imagery of it, because it wasn't like any other shit I had seen as a kid, and that's why it stuck with me. It's probably why I drifted towards the kind of movies and music and imagery that, you know, put me where I am now, because it's like, I love that movie. Apparently that movie tanked when it came out because of what it was, but...
And who can forget Mr. Boogedy?
Shout out to Mick Garris. Mick Garris, I think, directed Mr. Boogedy.
Oh shit, okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like Disney like TV movies. There was like was it Under Wraps, where it had a mummy and shit like that. And like, you know, there's nothing inherently wrong with liking Disney and like that being part of your culture. But like, what I've noticed with horror is that like, and I've noticed this with, you know, a lot of things that I've liked, is just because it went from being this thing where like, you know, I used to be really excited to be able to see a horror movie, and like part of the thing was like going to the video store and just like, oh shit, they have this, I can check, like rent it and finally see this fucking movie. Or like, hey, this is playing like HBO and sometimes even Turner Classic Movies, like set my VCR so I could tape stuff and watch it. Like it used to be like, for me, it was about the movies and being able to see the movies and like that kind of stuff. But like, you know, when I went to horror conventions like fucking 25 years ago, when I first went to some, is like being able to see merchandise with like horror movie, you know, shirts with horror movie like shit on it. Like that was cool, because it's like, oh shit, I can have an Evil Dead shirt.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. And back in the day, I mean, yeah, definitely when I was younger, I always, you know, it's like the kid, you know, it's just the fucking stereotype of like the skateboarding, like punk rock kid that's like into horror movies. You know what I mean? It's just like, that was their dumbass identity when we were teenagers, you know? Yeah. And I don't know, it's streaming. And but back to the convention thing is like, yeah, dude, fucking. So then we get a little older and we have jobs and shit, and we can like go to these horror conventions, and yeah, we're buying tons of like I had like the Omen zip up hoodie and a fucking Leatherface zip up hoodie and like all this stupid like horror clothing. Like, yeah, for sure. That was like our identity.
Yeah, and it was kind of like intergrained with like the punk fucking or hardcore band shirts we were wearing. It's like I still have the fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirt that Mike Thompson bought me from Reptilian Records back when it was like 94, 5 maybe.
Damn, no shit.
Yeah, it doesn't have sleeves on it, but like that fucker held up.
Hell yeah.
So it's like, when I got into horror and then got into, punk and hardcore, 100% thanks to you, which we'll do a whole episode on that at some point. But like, it was all ingrained. And like a lot of my friends who were in like punk and hardcore were also in the movies, that's where Bruce Holacek, there's always Jim DeHaven who
The Haven, who basically I became friends with because he had seen Evil Dead 2 and that was their commonality. And like, it was, I don't want to use I guess for lack of a better term, like the secret handshake. And like, I don't know. So it's just like over the last maybe, I'd say decade plus now, there's been this shift in horror where it's like, it's not as, I don't want to say it's sanitized. It just feels different. It doesn't feel like the special thing because like... was there some kind of, because the way that like, one like comic book movie got really popular, so they decided to make 50 more, did that same sort of thing happen with a particular like horror film or something semi recently that you feel like created a boom of like generic, newer horror films that have come out, or just that they just keep remaking the same fucking things or trying to use the same, intellectual properties fucking over and over and over? I mean, that's definitely something that Hollywood is guilty of recently. I think that's part of it, but I think a different part of it is the merchandising of horror franchises. Yeah. Because if back in the day when you go to horror convention, you're buying like a fucking Michael Myers or a fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirt, it was a bootleg. Yeah. Like straight the fuck up. It was just like someone's shitty screen print on a fucking shirt. And like, I mean, that's what horror conventions mostly are, was people fucking, even selling VHS and then eventually DVDs, but there was a lot of bootlegs off of Laserdisc that you could buy and stuff. And like, yeah, it was more a culture about like seeing and actively watching movies and being a fan of those movies. But I think that when horror started getting merchandised, and I'm again not knocking any of the fucking companies did, but there's been, t-shirt brands, there's actually, record labels repressing like horror movie soundtracks or putting them out for the very first time. And then the boutique Blu-ray label boom. I think all those things coalesced into like, people getting really excited, to have like all this cool shit based around movies they love. But I feel like it just, in a way, it took the edge off. Like, horror movies didn't feel dangerous. Yeah. Because like, if you're walking around with a fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirt, like maybe a decade ago, you would get like, you would get a side eye, or people like be kind of hesitant to like walk on the same side of the street with you, especially if you had tattoos or whatever. Well, I mean, even, it's the same, it's kind of the same. I think kind of what maybe you're getting at is that things aren't, I mean, honestly, it's kind of that things just aren't kind of gate kept the way that they used to be. And it's the same sort of thing as like when you, like if I call somebody a nerd now, like, oh, that guy's a fucking nerd, like someone would look at me strange and be like, yeah, and you know what I mean? But it's like, no, I mean like as an insult, like they're a fucking nerd. But like now it's cool to be a nerd. Everybody loves comic books. Everybody loves horror movies. Everybody, it's just, there's no gatekeeping. There's no gatekeeping in fucking punk and hardcore music anymore. It's just like everybody's allowed in, and I fucking hate everybody. I mean, I can't. Everything's too fucking inclusive, and I think that things should be gatekept. That's my opinion on everything. Like, I don't know. I guess, I mean, you can't, like, horror movies aren't underground. You can't keep them underground. No. But there is, I mean, there's an underground in the sense that there are things that are like studio films and non-studio films, But I don't know. I don't know. Are you just advocating gatekeeping? And what does that mean in this year? You know, a lot of this is due to streaming. A lot of this, it's just everything is just easier to find these days, and you don't actually have to do any real work to dig and find something special.
Yeah, I mean, because like there's part of me that's going to definitely sound like the guy that like walks up to like someone that has like, I don't know, I'm just going to throw something, just a fucking Neon Maniacs t-shirt or like some like deeper cut movie stuff, like, hey, that's a great shirt, I love that movie. And they're like, you know, there's the two answers, like, oh, I just like it because it looks good, or like, I haven't seen the movie, but you know, I got the soundtrack and all that. Like, but then you feel like you become the fucking ultimate dickhead, which is like, name 3 songs, bro.
Right. But again, I feel like, you know, I mean, maybe it's just the example you used, but like Neon Maniacs, like I'm sure it's probably on Tubi right now.
Oh, it's definitely on Tubi now.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you have to do a whole lot of fucking digging to find it.
Yeah.
But like, but I feel like that is the case across the board. There are still rare films out there, but like, fuck, man, I don't know. You can find a torrent, fucking whatever. I don't know. Just nothing is. You don't have to work for anything anymore. I don't know.
No, and you don't.
Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
It is and it isn't, because it's like, I'm going to be a little pro gatekeeping here.
Right.
And I know it's not in my best interest because I host a screening series and my whole point is to open the gates so people can fucking see movies they haven't seen. But like, I'll just say from a programming shifting standpoint, like when I used to do really good showing more deeper cuts or obscure things or restorations from Blu-ray companies, the stuff that does best is like fringe fucking studio fare now, or things that haven't played. And like, yeah, I don't do exclusively horror, but like, you know, this year has probably been like having to do every fucking Monday has been my best year number wise. Like last year comparatively, like I had wasn't selling out every show. Like there were certain ones I knew would sell out, but this time it's like I've sold out, you know, outside of June, like at least one show a month, and usually multiple. Like January was 3, fucking March I sold out the whole month. May I did 4 out of the 5, and coming in July I've already sold out Jaws. Roller Coaster is gonna be sold out. You know, by the time this recording comes out, it will be sold out, and most likely Jaws 2 and fucking Friday the 13th Part 6. But it's just like, you know, I feel the thing I've learned is that, like, and I've said this in other episodes of the podcast, the way I've been programming now, it's like, it's a lot broader, but in a weird way, it's not. And I guess my point is just like, you know, things that I think people have already seen because they're available on Blu-ray or streaming, or like through cultural osmosis, people would know basically the plot and what the fuck happens in this movie. Most cases is no, you know, in a fucking crazy way. Like I think about showing Night of the Living Dead last year, a movie that's been in public domain that you can fucking watch on every fucking streaming platform probably. There's a Criterion disc. There's probably fucking still bootleg versions of it on YouTube, you know? And I fucking screened it for a sold-out crowd where like 90% of the audience hadn't seen the movie. So, you know, I guess like...
It's not bad that you haven't seen a movie.
No,
it's a good thing.
Oh, it's a great thing. It's like, because, especially those screenings, because like I'm looking at it as like as someone who's presenting something through exhibition. And when I bring in an audience of people that love horror, that are actually coming to movies and experience a movie as it is, that's fucking phenomenal. Like, it was great watching Night of the Living Dead with an audience that hadn't seen it, especially when they got into it and got invested, and then when that downbeat ending fucking dropped, they got fucking sucker punched. And like,
it's kind of easy sometimes to have not seen some classic titles, to have not seen The Godfather, or not seen, you know what I mean? Like, and so when you do finally get the chance to see one of those films that are like supposedly like, why haven't you seen this already?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of badass when you see fucking Night of the Living Dead for the first time when you're fucking 30.
Yeah, and I fucking love it. Like, that part of it I love. But, like, I will also say there's, like, this is a different thing, because, like, what I'm talking about more is cinephiles, and not necessarily people that live that horror lifestyle. Like, their whole identity is, like, horror.
Yeah.
And, again, there's nothing inherently wrong with it, because if that's what's making you happy...
Right. I mean, I was definitely that guy at one point in time. There was a point, definitely many periods in my life where I only watched horror films.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking... And I try to just consume every fucking horror film I could find that I just like, you know, this is pre-Letterboxd, pre-whatever, but like still just finding like illegal ways to watch just every single fucking giallo I could find, every single fucking slasher I can find. Yeah, just fucking, but now I'm so fucking bored by that, dude. It's fucking kill me.
Well, because you probably, I mean, there was a period of time, like definitely when I got out of film school, like I was watching less horror.
Mm-hmm.
There was like, I still always liked it and would still buy it, but like there was definitely a period where it was like I was more interested in just film as a whole. And that was probably one of the greatest things when I'm sitting down watching like, you know, foreign films and like, you know, marking the TCM fucking calendar up so I know, you know, shit was like, oh shit, I haven't seen this Kurosawa movie. I'm gonna fucking tape it, you know? Cool. And like, I guess for me and my perspective is like, and maybe for you, it's all about watching the films and getting something from that experience. And I feel like on the other side of it, that it's, and this is why we're calling it Horror Clout, it's not necessarily about the movie. It's about like all the merchandise around it. Like the movie is like inconsequential. And it comes back to horror conventions. It's like, you know, when I went and there would always be celebrities there, like some of the celebrities that used to go and they would charge like $20 for autograph or whatever are now like hundreds, you know, over almost $200 just to get a fucking selfie and like something signed. Yeah. And it's weird because it's like you've taken like, you know, iconic actors and turned them into, and this is going to go back to the Disneyfication of things, you turn them into like, oh my God, I'm going to go hug Freddy Krueger and get my photo taken like you're at fucking Disneyland or Disney World.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the cons are big in every, you know, in the Comic-Con and the just all the different nerd genres.
Yeah,
you know,
and like I you know I have friends that like, you know, go to cons and are really happy. Or homie Kellen loves going to her. My friend Derek, who does Detour, he covers fucking cons up in like both Orlando and like in the Boston area, and like, you know, I don't feel like I belong there in a way.
Also, I think a part of the conversation is social media. You know, I haven't been posting on social media lately, so like we went to that fucking Godflesh show. I had to suffer through it. I didn't even get a good fucking Instagram out of it. You know what I mean? Everything this day, and as I'm saying, I think that we're most, if not all, guilty of like fucking doing things now just for the sake of that fucking getting that one photo and just I was there.
Yeah.
I was I had the Candyman fucking pick me up by the neck at the fucking at Monsterpalooza. I was there. You know what I mean?
I mean, let's be real, and like I'm 100% guilty of this. I've definitely gotten Blu-rays and I've fucking posted them. I've definitely bought records and posted them. You know, at the Godflesh show, I definitely like found a good image and posted it.
I've bought a bunch of records lately, and I haven't posted them on Instagram, dude. It's fucking, I've been bragging about all the things I've spent money on lately.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing, because like, you know, the way horror is now, it's like, you know, there's like multiple shirt labels, there's multiple record labels, there's multiple boutique labels, and then there's stuff that like there's people that just focus on pins. And
most of the shirts are bootlegs, right? Like almost everybody.
No, they're
almost everybody that's making horror shirts these days are bootlegs, right?
Some of them are. A lot of the shirts, like I think a lot of them started as bootlegs, but now a lot of them are make enough money from bootlegging that they actually legit license stuff. So there's a little bit of that, because I think
and that's not hating on, but I have a closet full of like sick weirdo fucking film bootlegs these days.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, no shame.
Oh, I'm not knocking bootleggers. I know, like, you know, it's always been a touchy subject, and like especially coming out of hardcore and punk, because like, you know, bootleg of records and stuff like that. But it's just like, I am no hater of bootlegs, not in records, not in fucking. You know, I'm not saying that that's even what you're saying. I'm just throwing out there like, fuck it, dude. If that record's $400, give me a fucking bootleg version that cost me $20. Fuck it. Who cares? I mean, that's like that Gizm record before fucking Relapse reissued it. That was like $1,000 record. And there's definitely boots of it. And I guarantee you some fucking fool paid $1,000 for a bootleg of it. But, you know, I think it's just like, you know, there's tons of shirt companies, and a lot of them get licensed now, like Fright Rag. I think every single thing they put out has to be licensed because they're that high profile. They can't be caught slipping doing a bootleg because they will get fucking popped. Yeah. especially when you get into the vinyl reissues and stuff like that. You have to clear it, probably not only with the rights holder of like the music, but you also got to talk to the composer and all that. And there's a whole bunch of fucking things. But, you know, it's just, I think it's just like the other part of it is, I guess, yeah, actually, I'm going to stay on records for a little bit because, like, John Carpenter basically got a whole new lease of life because of reissuing of his fucking soundtracks. Yeah. He started fucking recording music with his son and one of the fucking son of Ray Davies from the fucking Kinks or whatever.
Oh, no shit.
Like, I think that's what it is. But, like, yeah, Carpenter's putting out new music that isn't related to the fucking soundtracks he's already put out. He's put out, like, 2 or 3 albums at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And he's re-recorded his fucking greatest hits from his soundtracks. And before that, I don't think he really cared. I mean, his former, like, you know, co-collaborator, however you want to put it, Alan Howarth was doing it. But, like, when once Carpenter saw, like, oh, people give a shit and I can make money off of it, fucking ran. He's on Sacred Bones.
Yeah, Sacred Bones jumped on that. I think Sacred Bones did even like David Lynch stuff.
Oh yeah,
you know. So like they've always been a reputable label, but it's cool that they started doing that weird shit.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it, but like, you know, I'm, as much as there's things I don't like, I think there's benefits for people that, like, you know, get that fucking bag.
Yeah,
like seriously, and that's also why the convention circuit is changed. Like, obviously, a lot of the people who go to conventions would have like handlers and agents, but now it's a different market. Like, it's a commodity now, and it's just like that actor that was from a movie you loved is now packaged like at different conventions as like another, dare I say, I don't want to say merchandise because I feel like that's demeaning to the person, but like really it's a commodity. And it's not just hard. There's been celebrities like conventions and stuff, and like, you know, even people like Stallone have done it. Grant Stallone was charging like fucking ungodly amounts of money to get an autograph or a photo with him, but like still. And, you know, it's weird. Like, it's now this package, you know, and I think the thing I'm looking for is like an action figure. You meet a star from a movie you love, and it's just like you're meeting like the guy that posed for an action figure or something, or the girl or woman, you know what I mean? And it just like, I don't know. It's like, I know all those people make a good career, but like the other good career now is that if you're a fucking like a convention agent or something like that, you're probably making bank because you're getting a percentage of whatever they're making.
But again, this is all for the gram, dude.
This is
all for like, and it's either for the gram or like if you're getting, you know, we all know we've all had our experiences with the fucking autograph hounds.
Oh yeah,
the most insufferable type of person in the world. It's the ones that are like selling this shit on eBay. The ones that are like fucking really mad out back of the theater because they can't talk to whoever the fuck. Like, it's God.
Yeah, like the fuck.
Shit's so
like
annoying,
the fucking
dude.
Dickhead that brought a stack of 100 empty Funko pop boxes of Gremlins and expected Joe Dante to sign every single one of them out front of the LF3, and Joe's like, I ain't signing all that shit. See, you and I have a different experience with like autograph hounds and stuff because we worked at a movie theater where we've had big name guests and we've had people like fucking bum rush and shit. And like, there's obviously the fucking eBay flippers, but then there's also the fanatic fans. And like, you know, when I've talked about like, you know, people go to horror conventions are not the same as people that go to repertory screenings. I mean, there is some cross section. I don't want to say it doesn't exist, but like the majority is like people who go to horror conventions are more inclined to sit at home, watch their Blu-ray or VHS, but they will come out if it's a certain celebrity guest. And it's just like,
hey man, I guess that is one way to ensure that Blu-ray you've spent $50 on is a actual investment and is worth more money, is to get it signed by the director.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
So there's that, but
I mean,
I've never understood the motive. I mean, you know, I've talked to a couple famous people and like, I try not to. I mean, I definitely never have at the theater like that, but like I've ran into a few people in various places and spoken to the whatever famous person, but like, I don't know, just the whole act of like, I have to go to this event because I want to fucking meet Bellatar or whatever. Yeah. Like, I don't know, you're gonna be all right, dude.
Yeah, it's because people maybe not everyone, but we're going to talk about, these are the hardcore, very delusional autograph hounds who build up this fucking fantasy in their head that they're going to meet this person and it's going to be this life-altering experience for both of them.
I don't know, man. I just don't understand that. I definitely know people that are big into getting like music autographs and shit like that, and it's always been kind of strange to me. Like, I don't know, it's a weird thing to collect. Is like, I met you, but I don't know you, and it's like, I don't know. Again, back to the Instagram thing. It's like, sure, you can get your photo with this celebrity or whatever, and like, oh, you get a bunch of fucking likes, but like, I don't know. I've got a picture with me and like Milo from The Descendants on my fucking Instagram. Like, I don't fucking know Milo.
No.
He was at my band's show.
Yeah.
He saw my band play. That's pretty fucking cool. But I don't know Milo.
Yeah.
And like, but ultimately, like, isn't that what that's implying when it's like, oh, here's a photo of me and Ryan Adams, also on my Instagram. But like, but like, I don't fucking know Ryan Adams, and I don't care to.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, there's certain, because I'm not going to absolve myself to say, do I have shit autographed?
Now I'm saying this, I'm never going to do this again. I'll never do that again.
I mean, I have shit autographed. I obviously have photos with people. Most of my photos aren't people I randomly meet at theater. Like, the reason if I'm posing with a photo with someone is because I did a Q&A with them. And to me, that's the only time it's proper. And like, it is a double thing. Because one, I just want the memory of it because it's like, wow, I did something cool. Yeah. And, you know, you want to memorialize it in a way.
Also, I guess I have to acknowledge that there is a disconnect there in the sense that like we're around these people all the time, so yeah. it is a little different for okay. So we're like, I have to admit that like we're at this point, I'm jaded. I'm not starstruck by anyone. I don't care.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean,
so it's kind of cool sometimes, but like for the most part, I don't give a fuck, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean that's probably part of it. It's like, you know, probably when, you know, anyone first starts working, it's like, wow, fucking like I can't even think of anyone off the top of my head. I was like, oh, who's the guy?
Like, oh yeah, fucking Rob Zombie's just like standing next to me talking to me about running film for fucking, you know, for like a half an hour at a time. Like, who cares anymore?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just over it.
It's like you're up in the booth and like fucking Paul Thomas Anderson walks in, or like
here's
stuff
fucking
like,
Al Pacino again. Hi, Al. Like, fuck.
I mean, it's because we've been on the different side of it. And like what I was saying, it's like when I get photos, it's like, yeah, it's the memorialized, like I got to do this event. And obviously, yeah, that's a humble brag. I'm not going to bullshit that. But the other thing is it's promotion.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I did a Q&A with this person and like they're friends with other people. So if I do a film with one of their friends,
sure,
it's like network of friends. And not necessarily, I don't mean friends.
I love it. This is full on gatekeeping. It's all right for you. It's all right, but it's true though. No, I mean you have a brand. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's not, I'm not wrong here. Like, you know, and it's not exactly what you're saying, but it's kind of true though that you're justifying. I mean, you have a brand, so yes, of course, you're going to take a photo with these celebrities or whatever. Yeah. And yes, you deserve it. You did the Q&A, blah blah blah.
But
for sure.
But on the flip side, I'm not going to go get that done outside of
that context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't do it. It's like, you know, I fucking Dennis Etchison, who, you know, wrote the novelizations, the Halloween 3 and Videodrome and The Fog. Mm-hmm. He showed up at the theater one time. He never shows up to shit, and I did get shit signed that time.
Cool.
But it was like I struggled with, should I actually do that? And I was just like, I even asked if I got it cleared so I could go get mm-hmm. that done, because it was just like, it's never going to happen again. And it's just like, I don't know. I also feel like, for me, you pick your battles on what you get signed or what you do, because like you can't, I feel like everything is on an equal thing. Like everything is like at the same level. Like it doesn't matter if you get a picture taken with like, you know, D-list celebrity or fucking like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that.
Yeah.
It like, I mean, it has to have personal meaning to me. And like, I guess
everyone could argue that every single thing is personal and blah blah blah,
and that's true, you know, and that's what I'm getting at.
But we're for those outside fucking LA, we're I mean, you know, I have to admit, we're just so fucking lucky that, you know, you can easily at any day of the week you can easily buy a ticket for a show at the American Cinematheque and there's some insane celebrity there
Yeah.
that you can't believe you're in the presence of. It's fucking actually kind of crazy. I don't mean to just promote the organization we work for, but goddamn, we're lucky in LA, and that's not just the Cinematheque. I mean, it's happening all over the city all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Just a few nights ago, you could go fucking hang out with Arnold Schwarzenegger at the fucking, what was that, at the Academy?
He was at the Academy, yeah. And I mean, LA is spoiled, and a lot of my friends that program across the country, it's you're just man, you guys got such an advantage, because halftime, if they want to bring a celebrity out for a screening, it's they have to pay them, they have to put them up, and that kind of stuff. For us, and this is an obvious advantage, is hey, you want to come to the screening? Sure, I live 10 minutes from the theater. Let me walk on down.
Yeah, can you pay for my Uber?
Yeah. The amount of times we're it's not even that. They're shit, I can drive. I go there all the time. You know?
Yeah.
And it's, it's obviously a thing. And I guess you and I are a bit jaded, but but the thing is, when I look at horror conventions outside of LA, the people getting really excited to see celebrities and that stuff makes more sense to me. Yeah. But in physical LA, where 90% of these people live, that it's the same kind of rabid thing. If you see Tom Atkins at a fucking convention in Orlando, Florida, that's a big deal for someone, because oh shit, when am I ever going to see Tom Atkins in person again? Because he's not there. I mean, I guess it was a big deal for us because he lives in Pittsburgh and actually came out for Beyond Fest when he came out. So that's a weird exception. But for the most part, we're pretty spoiled.
Yeah. But, I mean, the fucking, all the conventions that happen here or happen in San Diego or something, which is not that fucking far away, and a lot of people travel to from LA.
Yeah.
It's just a huge gathering of I can get my shit signed by fucking Bryan Cranston. I can get my Instagram with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all, to me, all the clout, all the shit is it's just it's the fucking internet. And it's just, it's all for the likes. It's all for the gram. And I get it, man. I get that feeling. I get that. That attention. Did I get one more like?
Yeah.
It's a fucking crazy feeling.
I mean,
I feel crazy after one like, bro.
I mean,
I'm losing it.
It's a fact. And I think the reason why I kind of wanted to open up this discussion, because I kind of had the similar feelings. I would used to post screen caps of whatever I was fucking watching at home, and it's check out what I'm watching, or and if it's it's also look what I own, or look
follow me on Instagram though. Yeah. Check out what I'm watching.
Yeah. That's what it became, and I've kind of pulled back from doing that.
Yeah.
And I guess part of it in
did I say Letterboxd? Did I say Instagram?
You said Instagram.
I mean Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Follow me on Letterboxd.
Yeah, fuck Instagram. Follow me on Letterboxd.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Yeah, I absolutely feel the compulsion to fucking document my life, but also at the same time, what you're doing is you're not documenting the fucking mundane things. I guess just at this point watching a fucking movie is pretty mundane. but you're not putting your misery on fucking Instagram. You're posting all the good shit or whatever, and it's this is the movie I watched, this is check out my fucking good meal or where I went today or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it's your curated life.
Yeah,
check
out this photo of me and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Exactly. And I think I've dealt with this, and maybe it's just it's not even FOMO, but looking at social media, and then you start doom scrolling, and even if everything's positive, it has, at least for me, and I'm only talking about me and no one else, I get this, it makes me feel like shit sometimes. And I've really regulated how much I fucking scroll now.
Right. Well, because everyone's doing their best to show that their life is awesome, and that doesn't exactly do great for someone who's not feeling great that day or whatever the fuck, I guess. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, it just
it's all a competition. It's all just
I have a personal page, and I have the Cinematic Void page, and I'll post what I need on social media, or on Cinematic Void is promoting upcoming shows. Hey, got a fucking sale on merch, whatever, and I'll look at a couple things, but if I start finding myself fucking doing that fucking scroll, I'd all right, gotta put it down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Twitter's the same way. If I start scrolling through, because the way Twitter is now, you get so much invasive shit that from things you're not following in your feed. It's I'm gonna read this whole fucking reply chain to a thing that I don't even know who the fucking person is, but there's something in there that's what's this about? And it's why the fuck am I doing that? So I mean, I guess with what happened with Horror Cloud is like a bigger picture of what social media has done in general.
Social media, capitalism.
Yeah.
Again.
It's like, because when
I'm not anti-capitalist, by the way.
I mean, I like money.
Yeah.
Like, no fucking shit. I mean, I guess on the other side of like the kind of bringing it back to like autograph and photo clout culture, it's like, I guess, and this is just a personal thing, and like, I'm not trying to brag about it, but you've seen it in person. It's just like, I guess this has nothing to do with the people that approach me like outside of Void and talk to me or hit me. I was like, hey, I like your stuff, whatever. It's just like, I'm uncomfortable. And I feel vulnerable saying that aloud, but it makes me feel uncomfortable because I don't think of myself in any kind of fame or notoriety. It's like, I'm just the fucking dude that shows up like every Monday.
Do people ever, oh shit, I have to ask, do people ever hit you with the, let me get a photo?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you get on their Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah.
So I've become the Clout.
Oh shit. Okay. Hell yeah.
And like, it's happened a lot. And like, I don't think of myself in those terms. So when it happens, when like someone's like, hey, and like talks to me like outside of the fucking screening, I feel like it's not that I'm defensive, but it's just like, I don't know how to handle it. And you've been,
oh, I've been there many times, dude, at the amusement park, at the museum, at the fucking, I don't know.
Like there's like,
at the Godflesh show.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I'm not trying to be rude or like, like kind of diminishing people. 'Cause like, I'm down to be friendly or whatever, but it's just like, I just don't know how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's like, you're known for something, and it's just like, going to a grocery store and someone's like, hey, Cinemac Void. And I'm like, just let me buy my bananas.
Fuck, man.
Like, I know it's fucking dumb. And speaking, as
fucking
I say,
fucking Joe Rogan over here.
Yeah.
Fucking let me eat my fucking steak in peace. With my family.
Speaking of bananas, I forgot to buy bananas today. God fucking damn it. Anyway, but like, I guess because like genre stuff and what I've done, it's like, there's, when Q&As are taken, like, most of the time I get cropped out any photos of like when I do a Q&A with like a celebrity and stuff, and that's fine. But then a lot of times I don't. People tag me, and it's just like, well, that's cool. It's documentation. I got to do something cool. But then on the flip side, it's like, I don't know how I feel about it. And
I mean, that's a lot different than the getting a photo with you out front of the fucking restaurant.
I mean, yeah, because it's then like working, but like, and actually it hasn't been like that bad. I mean, I think there's been like a show or two like someone's asked for a photo and all that, and I'm not trying to put anyone on blast or whatever, but it's just like, it's just me dealing with that because the way I feel about it in general, because I watch how celebrities have to interact with people who want photos and, selfies and, yeah, can I get an autograph or whatever? It's just like, I feel uncomfortable watching it because I can't ask that of a person. And that's just my personal feeling on it. So when it comes to me in that way, where someone's like, hey, can I get a photo? Or like, hey, what's up? Or whatever. Like, I don't know. I feel weird about it. And and I don't have a better answer for it. And I'm not saying like,
I guess you forget that, like, just human nature wise, like it's still awkward or whatever. Like, yeah, because it fucking sounds awkward.
It's just, I feel like in my everyday life, like no one gives a shit about what I'm doing or whatever. And it's just like,
so maybe you need to pump up your ego a little bit and fucking just, when someone comes up and asks you for a photo or some shit, you should fucking own it.
I do. I do all that stuff.
Okay, but you still feel like shit about it. Okay.
It's not feel like shit. It's just like, I feel conflicted about it because it's just like, it's a weird thing. Yeah. And like, I was in Amoeba one day and like I was on the phone with Leslie and I'm walking out and guys like, hey, Cinemac Void dude. And she starts laughing at me. And I'm just like, fuck, dude. I mean, I guess this is just me like doing the whole thing. And it's just, I don't know. It's like, I guess by default, whether I agree with it or not, I'm a public figure in some way. And I also got to think like, when I went to Chicago for January Jallow, someone that was on Patreon who was in Indiana came up. I believe his name's Andrew. He's like, hey man, I've been a fan. I was like, this is the closest you coming. And like, that was really cool. I got to talk to dude. And like, it was cool, and I was also drunk, so it made it easier to be like, hey, what's up, you know? Maybe I just not need to be sober in those situations.
Yeah, you should drink more.
Yeah. Just fucking, like, just every day, you like go in the grocery store, pull out a fucking flask.
If you're going into public, you should probably drink first.
Yeah, I think it is. But, like, Andrew's a nice dude, so it's like, but, like, you know, that was kind of cool, and that was because of the Cinemadness movie. Like, that's how I found it, and so, you know, I guess, like, I have a love-hate relationship with the horror, not just horror clout, but just clout chasing in general. Mm-hmm. And it's like, because on one hand, I have to embrace it and use it because I'm promoting a thing that, like, you know, the more people take pictures of, like, shit from the screening, not the actual movie, but, like, you know, Q&As, or if a Deanna comes out and we do a fucking bit or whatever, like that kind of stuff, that builds up interest, builds up followers, you know, it's getting those likes and those clicks and, like, you know, getting that out there. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't really like it. I'm a conflicted dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. I think you need to work through some of your issues here.
Yeah, I just need to go to therapy. That's all I need to do. Podcast is not therapy. I mean, it's cheaper than therapy to just fucking ramble here and be incoherent and just like, let me talk about my insecurities on.
I'm not a good therapist? What?
Oh, you're a great therapist.
What am I doing here?
Right, you're a great therapist. I paid you with a burrito.
By the way, guys, I'm actually just here as Jim's therapist. I'm not the co-host at all.
I mean, it makes sense. I've known you probably outside the Haven. You're probably the one person I've known the longest. So, I don't know. But, you know, I guess to kind of wrap things up, the merchandising and, like, the kind of, like, the taking something that, like, because the way we used to share horror movies is, like, you physically had to go over someone's house and bring the tape, like, yo, check this shit out, or loan the tape. Mm-hmm. Where now it's just, like, you can learn everything you need to learn about a movie without fucking watching it. And then you can have the fucking shirt and, like, all that stuff. And I think it's just, like, a cultural shift. And I think it's just a general cultural shift in a larger thing, you know? I look at, like, Salem, Massachusetts, how it's changed. It's like, that got Disney-fied. It's weird when you think about a place where, like, 20 plus innocent people were hung for supposedly being witches is now, like, the Halloween capital of America in a weird way. Yeah, and it's just like, I mean, that's part of the reason why, like, Kay had to move the fest from October to, like, April, because it's just, like, it's too many fucking people, and they didn't give a shit about going to the movies. Yeah. There's definitely people that are like, oh, I love horror movies and stuff. Like, here's a whole fucking horror fest that has, like, fucking guests and showing you new horror and fucking repertory horror. Right in fucking the fucking de facto Halloween capital. And, like, it just became too much. I mean, it became harder because you couldn't get hotels for guests and stuff like that. So that's why she moved to April. But, like, you know, I was there last April, and I'm going to be there in a couple weeks in July. And my understanding is, like, shit's packed year round now. Yeah. Maybe not to the I'm not going to use the term, but from the hot season of it, like from end of September through October, it's just, I mean, the homie Derek Millen goes, like, every week in October and documents it, but I know he has to get up fucking asshole early to do it. Mm-hmm. But, so, I guess my bigger point is that, you know, I guess the world's changing, and, like, I just got to kind of acknowledge that, like, I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm not saying everyone else is right. I'm just saying, like, my personal feelings on things is just, like, I liked when horror movies were, like, more of a secret handshake. And, like, yes, I'm getting back to gatekeeping. But I just think it's kind of like, it comes back to that, you know, when a punk band sells out and goes to a major label. But that's not really what's happening with this stuff. Because, like, you know.
Also something no one cares about anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I'm wrong for giving a shit. You know, I mean, I'm going to talk about some things I had to do just so I could continue to enjoy horror movies and Halloween and that kind of stuff. And it's like, yes, I show horror movies fucking year round along with other stuff. But, like, let's be fucking honest here. The thing that does the best for me is always going to be horror. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I love showing grimy exploitation movies, you know, blaxploitations, 80s sex comedies, like giallo films, whatever. But, like, if I pop in an 80s horror movie in the fucking lineup, always does well. will definitely sell out, probably get some guests, be a big event. And like, I like to live in a world where like it could be both like people give a shit about seeing A Nightmare on Elm Street with maybe not Robert Englund, but like someone else from the cast there. And also give a shit about like seeing Last American Virgin with like cast and crew there or something like that. And I mean, I'm using the wrong example because that screening did sell out because that's one of the movies that does have that cult cliche. But like, again, that's a specific audience, and it's not like people are wearing a Last American Virgin like, fits or whatever out in public. Mm-hmm. But I guess what I've kind of had to do to like not lose my love of the thing that I, was fundamental and helped making me what I was. Like, if it wasn't for cult and horror movies, if it wasn't for punk rock and hardcore, I wouldn't be the person I am. Cinematic Void wouldn't exist, So what I've kind of done is like when it gets to be Halloween time, like for the most part, it's just like I'm just celebrating it in October. Because I know there's like a thing that's now that people like, oh, Halloween's 365 days a year. And it's like, if that works for you, that's great. I don't want to spoil it. Because I remember being a kid getting really excited when October hit and all the Halloween specials would come on TV and stuff like that. And that's part of it's nostalgia. Part of it's just like, I just want to be contained. Obviously, you can watch horror movies any time of the year. Obviously, you can watch John Carpenter's Halloween any fucking day of the week that you really want to. I've watched that movie outside of October plenty of times.
I'll never understand what Hooptober is.
I don't know what the fuck Hooptober is. Is it basketball related?
That's what I'm asking.
I have no idea. I've seen people post.
I'm on the internet too much.
I've seen it, but I've seen it used in a movie context, and I'm like, were you watching just basketball movies? I mean, that's kind of sick.
Yeah, dude. Fucking Air Bud.
But I don't know. I mean, that's one of the things I do is just like, Halloween season. And there's things that like I love. Like I love Salem the town. I've been on record saying I love fucking seaside cobblestone fucking towns. And like when I get to the point where I can retire or wherever my career takes me, if that takes me to anywhere that I can live there.
Jim's going to live in a lighthouse with Willem Dafoe.
Oh, definitely. Cool. I mean, that's what I'm down for. All I'm down for is fucking like waking up every day, looking at the fog over the water, drinking a cup of coffee, and fucking smoking a pipe. That is my most ideal life at this point. I don't know what the fuck that is because like
watching over the lighthouse. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just where I'm at right now. But what the fuck was I gonna make? I got sidetracked thinking of that. Yeah, man, I just want to fucking live in a lighthouse, have a fucking scarf on and like a pea coat. Shit, that's the life.
Just waiting for Dagon or Cthulhu to come back.
Exactly. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I'm just taking, so I don't lose my love for stuff. Because it's like, I feel like Halloween became Christmas. And one of the things I always hate about Christmas, that the fucking second that Halloween ends, like, Christmas shit's out for most places. I remember being in Salem on Halloween one year, and then November 1st, the Salem Mall is playing fucking Christmas music. Mm-hmm. And it's like, dog, this is like fucking 2 months. And it's like, fuck Thanksgiving, I guess. But now, like, Halloween, like, basically, I've seen people post online, it's like, Joanne Fabric and Michaels already got their Halloween shit out. And it's like, God damn, it's fucking not even July. And they're like, people, get it now. And I'm like...
Barely put my Easter eggs away.
Exactly. It's just like, I don't know. It's just, do what you love. If you're into, like, living every day where your house looks like fucking the Haunted Mansion and you're just, like, eating fucking Count Chocula and Frankenberry.
Dude, that used to be me.
Yeah. I mean,
it used to be me, man.
I used to hoard that shit. I used to buy boxes and try to stretch it out for a fucking year.
You ever see on that Danzig VHS where they're like sitting there with the fucking blueberry or whatever? Just like,
oh, I forgot.
It's like maybe Chuck Biscuits, just like stoked as hell. He's like, hey, it's my fucking cereal.
But yeah, I mean, horror's been a lot of stuff. Like, you just said Danzig, but like, how big was the Misfits for both of us growing up?
Fuck yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a big part of all of this shit, man. It's just like being into fucking corny bullshit.
so maybe I guess my bigger point is like, do what you love. It's just like, maybe I don't feel comfortable seeing like things that I really love being like commercialized and made like, it feels less special because it's out in the open. And I also, part of me, the other thing I dislike it, because ultimately for me, it comes down and always comes down to, it's about the movie. The movie's the most important factor. And I feel like because everyone's like, it's about the merch, it's about everything around it. It's about having the fucking signature on your fucking Blu-ray. It has, I think, the most important thing, because I love film and I love cinema. And I guess in the purest, it's one of the purest art forms. Yeah. Because especially something that's shot on film, and I'm kind of paraphrasing Godard here, as we're going to talk about the non-horror filmmaker, but Jean-Luc Godard, film is a way you capture a part of time. It's a literal time capsule. And obviously you can do photographs and all that, but it's something you watch over again. You see people who, you see someone in the 60s and then you realize they aged out. And sometimes they're in their 80s or 90s when you do a repertory screening and they come out for it. And you see the difference, but the film is timeless and it's a time capsule. And it's just and I guess more thing is I think the movie is just more important than all the shit that goes around it. And that's what's most important for me. It's I'm always going to love horror movies, regardless how I think people have taken them and just I don't want to say devalued them, but just put all the weight on all the non-essential shit. Movies are art, regardless if it's fucking Chud or it's fucking Solaris. It's an art form. Mm-hmm. And that's my bigger point. And just yeah, it's fine to post things you got signed, or if you get a photo with a celebrity and all that, but it's just at the end of the day, are you doing it because you love it, or are you doing it just for the clout? All right, we're going to take one last commercial break here, but when we come back, it'll be Read, Watch, and Listen here on the Cinematic Void Podcast.
I, Speedy McGreedy, have created Frankenstein Mouth.
I want juicy burgers.
We'll go to Hardee's.
See, burgers are juicy at Hardee's.
Right, Ivan. Hardee's jaw broils them.
Let's say hello to Hardee's.
Hello, Hardee's. Well, hello.
It's Halloween time. When you buy a burger and soft drink at Hardee's, you get a coin to put in the fun machine, which gives you a Halloween prize.
I got a creepy crawly Halloween thing. I got a Halloween ring.
The fun machine at participating Hardee's.
Hey, I'm no numbskull, so call me at 1-900-909-2233, and you'll hear the funniest monster jokes like, what's a vampire's favorite sport? Basketball. Or the one about the ghoul who missed her mummy. You'll also find out how to get these scary street signs featuring my friends Dracula, Wolfman, and Frankenstein. It costs $2.45 for a 2-minute message, so ask your mom or dad if it's okay before you call 1-900-909-2233. I'm dying to make you laugh.
At Six Flags, we've unearthed new thrills and added even more fun. Whoa! It's our Halloween party for the whole family, featuring creepy, crawly pets, a haunted mansion, frighteningly fun shows, plus heart-pounding rides on these October days and nights. So don't just creep in. Hurry to Fright Fest at Six Flags Magic Mountain. So much fun, it's scary. For the first time ever, pay just $20 for Six Flags admission with coupons from Jack in the Box restaurants.
Welcome back. It's now time for on the Cinematic Void Podcast, where we talk about all the things we've been reading, watching, and or listening to since the last time we recorded a podcast. All right, Nick, I guess it's only been a week since we last recorded. Has there been anything new you've been reading, watching, and or listening to?
Not really. Yes, and also no. I'm still on that Matt McCusker book, Overlook. Just fiction book about a bunch of different characters just doing bad stuff in kind of the Philly cities, suburbs, the Philly outskirts. So still in that. Watch-wise, I haven't watched fucking anything lately, but I did just last night rewatch House of Games by David Mamet. It's a fucking banger, and maybe the first one of his I saw, and I keep coming back to it. It's great.
You're a big Mamet head.
I am, man. It's a sick one, and I generally just like con men shit anyway. I don't know. It's a sick little genre.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a cool little spider web of cons going on in this film. I don't know. I think it's really sick. Oh god, I can't remember his name, but there's one actor in there that's been in a billion things. He's just a great kind of gangster character.
Is it Chaz Palminteri?
No, it's the guy who plays Mike. Joe Montana, who's in like I feel like he's just in a million things and is just kind of the perfect like kind of tough guy gangster character.
Yeah.
But
I think wasn't he Fat Tony, the voice of Fat Tony on The Simpsons?
God, he fucking might be. That would make perfect sense.
I think he is.
But I really don't recognize any of the other actors or actresses. But just a sick one for sure. And then I've been listening to a lot of Jimmy Eat World, and then a bunch of kind of like early mid 2000s stuff. And then I've also been listening to the March of the MFs, Delco MFs single and the Hell LP that just came out. I forget what label either of them are on, but just both just sick, fast hardcore, along with that People's Temple 7-inch that came out a few months ago. Just a lot of great, like, hardcore is back, like actual hardcore, the fast variety, not this fake metal bullshit. No, I love modern hardcore, but like, yeah, fast fucking 80s style hardcore, like it's meant to be done.
Exactly.
That's about it for me, man. What's up with you?
Read. I haven't really made much of an effort to read this past week, so that's going to be a no-go there. Watch. Outside of just watching stuff at void screenings, I have not sat down to watch a movie. I've thought about it, but I'm just not in a place where like I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm just off mood. I don't want to say off movies, but
I'm just done with film, man.
I don't know.
I thought that was your passion. I thought you were just talking about how that was your passion.
It is, but like, but sometimes you need a break from your passion too. If you do your passion too many times, it just loses its, So I don't know. I just watched the new Dark Side of the Ring episode with Junkyard Dog, which is incredible. Like, this season's been fucking killing it. So yeah, that's the only thing I've really I've made an effort to watch.
Yeah, dude. No, I gotta check out this Junkyard Dog episode, man. I'm excited.
Oh, it's fucking great. Listen, it's been a bunch of things, but I'm just gonna kind of hit the main things that have been on repeat. Band called Sign Language, album called Madison and Floral. I guess somewhere in that like that kind of new hardcore sound where it kind of falls into that shoegaze, like new metal, pop punk kind of realm.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say kind of comparisons to Fleshwater, maybe just not as heavy, but still pretty catchy. That's their album, but they have a bunch of EPs and singles too. So
cool.
Definitely been checking it out. Been listening to Slip by Quicksand because they're going to be doing that reunion tour, and I don't know, I just bought tickets to go see them in DC, so it's just like, I'm going to throw that on.
Right on.
Still holds up.
Perfect record.
Yeah, Walter's just, speaking of Gorilla Biscuits, fucking...
Do that first Civ record.
Yeah, and like...
Rival Schools.
He can't do no wrong. It's like that man's catalog is fucking incredible.
Like that time that I saw Gorilla Biscuits at the Autobar in like mid-2000s, I think the one of the stipulations was like they have to let Walter play an acoustic set as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just like went to the back bar, like not even like on stage. He went just to the back in the bar and just like stood in the middle of the room with an acoustic guitar and even played like Gorilla Biscuit songs.
That's fucking crazy.
Quicksand songs.
I mean, he wasn't actually in Civ, but he wrote most of the songs.
Yeah, he wrote that whole first record, but not the second one.
Yeah.
To be sure.
That's fucking...
You could tell the fucking difference.
That's insane. And then lastly, before we went and saw Godflesh, we were watching a bunch of hardcore videos and stuff, like got on a little bit of a Trapped Under Ice kick. So, and kind of shuffling around those like LPs and splits and shit like that. So yeah, that's what I've been reading, watching, and or listening to. Not much reading though. Really not much watching, just primarily listening.
Nice.
But that's going to bring this episode of the Cinematic Void podcast to a close. Hit us up on social media. Tell us your thoughts on it. You can, it's fine if you disagree or agree or have like a different opinion of it that's completely different than anything we threw out there. And, I consider this open discussion. So, you have your own thoughts, send them our way. We'll talk about them on the podcast because I feel like, just because I feel one way or Nick feels one way doesn't mean you can't feel another way, and hey, let's have a discussion. So send your thoughts our way. You can send them, you can just tweet at us, you can DM us, whatever you're more comfortable with. So until next time, see you in the void.
People look at me and go, ooh, you're morbid. But no, I'm just weird and I'm having fun.